Hi, my name is Didier. I'm at the lab over in Paris at La Maison du Whisky. Today we're going to be talking about peat with Oliver from Elixir. Hi Oliver, how are you doing?
Hi Didier, I'm good.
Okay, so peat, as you probably know, is what gives whiskey that smoky flavor. It's dry, it's burnt during the drying period of the malting, and you see often terms like phenols or PPMs, which is a measurement unit. Oliver, can you tell us a little bit more about what that means and how it's measured?
So phenols are a family of compounds, kind of heavier compounds, and in terms of whiskey they create those richer, smoky, kind of medicinal characters that a lot of the time you associate with Islay whiskey. PPM, it refers to kind of the measurement, so measuring very small quantities of compounds in liquids and solids. So largely when we talk about PPM or parts per million, phenols parts per million, we're talking about the spec in the barley. So that's how the distillers view it. They'll be ordering a barley and they'll look for a specific specification in the barley. Once that barley's been processed and turned into spirit, it'll have a different PPM in the liquid. But largely when you hear a PPM spec mentioned, it's normally the spec from the barley rather than the liquid.
Okay, so Elixir, you guys put out a few different ranges of labels with the single malts of Scotland, for example, Portiskeag, which is an Islay single malt, and of course the Elements of Islay, which is Islay-specific bottlings. For the catalogue of La Maison du Whisky this year, we have an exclusive peat cubic root. And so as far as the blended malt that you're releasing, it's a blend of 3 different casks, I believe. There's a medium peat, a heavy peat, and extremely heavy peat. Are there specific ranges in the Scotch industry where you consider something medium or heavy, as far as PPM goes, for example? Or is it more of a taste thing?
I don't think there's a kind of official scale for what's considered light, heavy and medium in terms of and flavour profiles. We certainly considered all about the flavour of the whiskies we were trying. So for example, we used Caol and Caol's peated to a very similar spec to say Lagavulin. We could personally consider Caol to be quite a kind of medium style of peated whiskey, whereas Lagavulin you might consider to be heavier and more phenolic in the end liquid. In this case we've used a lighter, so Caol is our kind of medium base, and then we've used some whiskey from Lefroy, which is that slightly more medicinal, heavier, more peaty whiskey, and then lastly we used Optimor, which is incredibly heavily peated. It gives you that kind of green, almost vegetal note that for me is a fantastic base for everything else to work from.
Okay, and as far as the interaction between peat and casks, I think you have some sherry cask, you have some bourbon cask in the mix. Do higher levels of peat work better with one or the other? Or do you have any kind of did you notice any special matches that work best?
To the same extent, I think you also find those darker, heavier, robust flavours of dates and classic kind of red fruit that you expect from sherry do marry really well with smoke. But it's such an individual thing. And in this case, we've used both styles. So we've used both refill oak, first fill bourbon and sherry. We brought everything together when we're just looking to balance out those flavours. So each adds in an element, and hopefully you will get those slightly sweeter vanilla notes, but you'll also get that rich ruby red fruit coming through as well, all with the different levels of smoke.
Okay, so thank you Oliver for answering all our questions. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, follow us for more. And the question of the week is about peat and Islay, of course. Why is Islay well known for peat? Why has peat traditionally been used on the island for historical reasons? If you think you know, put it in the comments, and we'll see you next time.